guys, I don't know if you can see everything behind me, but the garden is growing to such masses that I really am just left speechless every day when I come out here and try to share this with you. Today is June 30th, 2023. Our garden is so alive. I am trying to do some pruning after all of the rain that we've had and some trussing, but there's so many pollinators. They're not even really, like, they're letting me get in there, but they're letting me know that they're present. And I'm talking about honeybees and bumblebees and different types of wasps and things that I've never seen before. So I'm trying to be very careful. The camera seems to set them off a little bit, but I know you've missed a lot and things have grown so much. I thought I'd give you a quick garden tour today before I start actually harvesting, because today we have things to harvest. So let's go for a walk through our backyard garden and see how things are progressing. So this area behind me, which is in one of the ends of our main tomato bed, is full of buckwheat and zinnias and nasturtium, and there's so many pollinators behind me. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but I am literally in a swarm of pollinators right now. So this is really amazing. I did see my first cicada killing wasp, so I have to be careful because they really don't like the camera. But I'm gonna get in here and give you a close-up on some of the flowers that we have growing here in the tomato bed, which is really attracting the pollinators. So they're going back to all of the tomato plants and all the blossoms, and they're pollinating all of the blossoms. They're going to the cucumber blossoms. I mean, it's really just amazing to see. So the zinnias are finally starting to open. I'm pretty sure these are the queen line. They're not as big of heads that I thought they would be, but they're still really, really beautiful. And all of the bees, they just love all of these flowers. So gosh, I wish I could get focused on here to show you the pollinators. Down tucked in there is one of my Kellogg's breakfast tomatoes. It's probably well over a pound. So the tomatoes are just growing so large this year. I have to leave. I want to get a closer look at those tomatoes down there, but there's just too many pollinators for me to stick my hands in right now. But nonetheless, look at the park swappers. Oh my goodness. There are so many sets of tomatoes. And even though we had all of that rain, everything is doing just like incredibly well. So I anticipate that we are about a week out from things starting to blush here. But we're going to have so many tomatoes on our first harvest that, you know, I'm certain that, you know, people who we normally share with are probably starting to get excited. We do have a low-key little bit of blight happening here, but it's okay. We had a tremendous amount of rain, so I am grateful for the rain. My Hungarian hearts are doing better than ever this year. There are some Abe Lincolns doing really well also. So, oh my goodness, look at this garden at this time of the morning, you guys. This is so amazing. Now I wanted to bring you around to the other side here and see if we can get a closer look at all of the pollinators. And look, oh my gosh, you guys. Now the corn is as tall as me, so we're gonna take a walk over there. There's so much for me to show you. I can see this beautiful nasturtium flower from inside the house. It is such a bright red color. It's so beautiful. I am obsessed with nasturtium this year. These are the Roma tomatoes from M.I. Gardner, and oh my goodness, I think I'm going to stop growing the Martinos from Baker Creek and just stick with this Roma variety from M.I. Gardner, because this plant, or this variety, seems to be very disease resistant. It's full of tomatoes. There's no real aphid problem. I have aphid problems every year with the Martinos, and I don't really know why. But I'm really happy with these tomatoes that are growing here, and I'm really very happy with these beautiful nasturtiums. So trying to get in here to show you more of what's happening with this tomato bed, it's not very easy because I've created a living habitat for the pollinators. So they are very, very busy working and I don't want to bother them. But in here I have borage and lettuce leaf basil. All of the cosmos are starting to come up and they're starting to get their flower blooms on top. There is white borage that will be opening soon, and all of the blue borage. Everything here is growing so happily. And then there's that there's that giant tomato back there. Oh, I can't wait. This is probably going to be our biggest tomato so far, so very excited to have a Kellogg's breakfast show up like that so beautifully. Now on my cattle panel that we put here, I have the Grappoli di Inverno tomato, which is really showing up with a ton of sets. I mean, there are so many tomatoes on this plant. I did say that I was going to try to keep this prune to a single stem, but it seems to be absolutely impossible. And the good news is it's growing very happily and there's no blight. It's easy to train up this trellis, and I have it clipped off in multiple places. I'll still do some pruning, but there's just so many tomatoes on it. I'm probably gonna have the most delicious tomato gravy this year. I'm so excited. This is the Borghese, which I grow year after year, and this also has a tremendous amount of sets on it, and it's allowing me to train this up the cattle panel as well. Something good that's happening this year is all of our eggplants, which are, this is Rosita variety right here, and then we have a few Casper variety, which is the white. These are growing so much better this year because we started treating them with spinosad. Now I do have a Japanese beetle back here that I'm going to have to come back and get off, but since John's been spraying it weekly with the spinosad, the flea beetles are starting to back off a bit. And then we have zucchini here. This is the Cocozelle variety that I got from Parks Seeds. Parks Seeds. I bought that seed when I bought the Parks Whoppers tomato seeds. And then over here we have the Black Beauty. So I've already harvested a few. Oh, there you go. There's a squash bug. It's time to get out the cup of death. But I have a bunch of baby zucchini plants coming up behind these. So if the season is starting for this much pest pressure already, we are pretty much prepared to address it. Now, oh my goodness, the corn is so tall. John was just out here side dressing it with bone meal, or I think he uses bone or blood meal. I can't remember. I'll have to confirm that, and I'm certain as he's editing he'll write it below which one he uses. The corn is John's thing, so Farmer John and his corn, I do not interfere with his process, but I process it when it's grown. It's very, very happy corn this year, so we anticipate that we will have a few hundred ears coming off of it. Lots of pollinators back here, and the little baby birds have been hanging around, so we know that it's going to start to tassel soon. So when you learn to watch nature, it's amazing because the patterns and behaviors of all the birds and the insects let you know what the process is going to be. And I'm certain that based on the height of the corn and based on the activity of the wildlife, we are going to have tassels and an early harvest of corn this year, so it's pretty exciting. So now I'm in this new section where we created the extra trellis and the galvanized beds from Amazon, and these tomato plants are probably some of the happiest tomatoes I've ever grown. This is the Thornburns terracotta, and they're just starting to change color for me. So I like to say that they're not just blushing yet, but I feel like it's a little joke that I have that they're giggling at me because I know they're going to blush after they giggle. Which is me being weird, but look at the beautiful variegated nasturtium. These tomato beds are really, really happy. The Black Beauty tomato is starting to giggle at me as well. So These colors of these tomatoes though are really, really beautiful. And I'm hoping that the flavor's there because this tomato plant is full of blossoms. There's no disease on it. I haven't had any problems with it at all. It's just aggressive. So you have to be prepared to truss and trellis something like this. I kind of wish that I would have put this on a bigger structure, but I didn't know what its behavior was going to be. Also in here I have cosmos and calendula growing. There are beautiful zinnias over here. So these are a combination of senoritas, queen lime, and polar bear zinnias. I may have added some California giants in here and some Peruvian blend as well. But like I've said many times, I am a squirrel. I have no idea what I put, where I put it. I'll know it when it comes up and we can all be surprised together. So this is the Dr. Witchies. Again, I have a few really big, beautiful tomatoes here, close to a pound. I'm really loving the Dr. Witchies yellow. This is Mortgage Lifter with, again, more nasturtium and zinnias. And oh, the nasturtiums this year. The colors are just absolutely incredible. Really, really beautiful. Look at my beautiful daylilies all blooming. Oh my goodness, 2 of my brand new varieties have opened. Now, it's so crazy because I just bought these from the daylily farm this year and they were so beautiful in the pictures when they were being shown. That's new. This one is new. They were very, very expensive. And don't you know, it turns out that I already had these lilies. So I spent all this money for these daylilies and I already have them. So, oh my goodness. They're still beautiful. I guess they're slightly different from the ones that I already have. It's all good. I don't think I have this one though. This one opens up to a very lemon yellow, delicate looking flower. So I'll be looking forward to that one. But anyway, there goes my attention deficit again, you guys. So these are the Martino's tomatoes. Again, every year I get major blight with these and an attack of aphids. So I had to take all of the leaves off and it seems to be rebounding much better, and the tomatoes that are already growing on the Martinos are hanging on. So I'm just going to stay on top of it and let it do what it's going to do. I don't really like spraying things, not even with soap and water, not on the tomatoes anyway. But this Martino's over here is doing really, really well. And the one next to it is the M.I. Gardner Roma for comparison. Here I have some of my Kentucky Wonder indeterminate pole beans, which have climbed like beanstalks, really amazing. And this is a French fillet bean. So this now, you guys, is a tomato plant volunteer, which was a Sweet 100. It's its 3rd year volunteering. So I'm going to we kind of let it grow wild just to see what happens. And unfortunately, we are blessed with the abundance of a tremendous amount of tomato volunteers. These are the Amish paste from M.I. Gardner, which I'm very, very happy with all of the M.I. Gardner tomatoes this year. They're growing beautiful, healthy, disease-resistant tomatoes. I'm just thrilled about that because I don't know what the difference is from the ones I have from Baker Creek, but they're just not growing in the same patterns. And this is the San Marzano. Now there is a tomato on the other side that I forgot to show you, that I want to show you. It's really interesting growth patterns in case you're looking for a different type of paste tomato to grow. But this part of the garden's growing quite happily. We have a ton of basil here. My cucumbers are growing quite happily. They look really beautiful, lots of flowers. Pollinators are showing up everywhere. And gosh, as long as the weather holds up, you guys, we're gonna have an absolutely incredible harvest. Look at the beautiful nasturtiums peeking through. Now what's incredible is I can see these from inside the house. They're that bright. Really, really beautiful. So now I've run back over here to the main tomato bed, and I wanted to show you these really beautiful elongated tomatoes. These are also from M.I. Gardner, and this variety here is the first time for us to grow this year is the Jersey Devil paste tomato. It is, I think they're considering it indeterminate or semi-indeterminate. So, which, you know, I'm guessing that it means, you know, it's going to vine a little bit and it's not going to grow as crazy as some of the truly indeterminate tomatoes, but it's growing bigger than I anticipated. So I'm happy that we gave it a full trellis system so that I can come out and I just keep clipping it off. So it's time for me to clip it off again. I haven't really been pruning off all of the suckers because I don't really know what this variety does. But I think these, for comparison, this is how big it is against my hand. Now, once these start to really juice up and get nice and big, I'm hoping that they're going to be nice and rich and meaty inside and, you know, pasty, because I want to make a true tomato paste this year. Behind me are our pepper beds. They really took a hit with the rain. We had epic, epic rain come down. But the beautiful thing is I have been harvesting shishito peppers. Even though you see some of the leaves are falling off, there's nothing I can do. There's some things that are out of your control, guys. You just have to let the garden do what it's going to do when it suffers from being exposed to elements. The nadapeños are holding up really, really well. You can see I actually have some nadapeño babies in there. I have several shishito peppers to pull off today, and I've already pulled quite a few. So all the tops of these peppers look just fine. It's just the bottom where they got splashed, and there's only so much you can do. So the main peppers that are really suffering are still these farm stand bought California Golden Wonders. Now, again, they are trying, and I'm letting them just do what they want to do. You have to let nature just do what it's going to do. This poor little pathetic thing here, I don't even know what happened to them. Like I said before, I assume they were stunted from the cold. And everything in this bed is suffering from the rain, but it's bouncing back. You can see we have a lot of flowers. The plants are nice and upright. I have a ton of peppers growing. They are suffering from some kind of disease that I'm seeing today, so I might cut this one off. I'm not really sure, you know, everything that happened, but, you know, I don't overanalyze it. I just go with the flow. So there, you know, there was a lot of rain. That's all I can say about that. Over here we have the variegated, Alaska variegated nasturtium has finally given us a bloom. Oh my gosh, look how beautiful this flower is. Really, really gorgeous. More shishito peppers ready to pull today. My calendula. So much to show you, everyone. So the again, I'm back in here in the main bed, and here are the Baker Creek variety of Amish paste, and these are doing really well too. Don't take me wrong. It just seems like the MI Gardener ones are growing a little different. I really can't explain it. And then we have this variety here, which we think is the Abruzzi pear that came out of the packet of the San Marzano Lungo 2 from Baker Creek. Now you can see that when they grow, they are a little bit more elongated. So we definitely got a mix of seeds in this packet. I don't know what they are. You can see on this tomato, this plant really took up a lot of water, but it's gonna all be just fine. We're gonna have a ton of tomatoes. My carrots, look at this beautiful 8-foot long bed of carrots. I had almost full germination in here, and you can see by the colors of the carrot tops that some are red, some are black, some are purple. I can, you know, stick my hand down and feel they're not crowning yet, but they are almost ready to harvest. The carrots that I am growing in the bag are also doing really, really well. And I have a few. These are, I think they were called the Rainbow Mix from MI Gardener. There's a few down there that are starting to crown, and I'm really interested because there's some white carrots in here that I can't wait to try. The Clancy potatoes from Botanical Interest are now flowering, and we refilled the bag with dirt, so you want to hill your potatoes as they grow, so it'll produce more potatoes down deep. And you know, we still have some lettuce that's hanging on, and my cucumbers back here are doing really well. My Kajari melons are starting to pop up. There's some sort of little pest pressure happening back here, but it's okay. We have to go with the flow until it decides what it is that it wants to do. Now, amazingly, we harvested enough broccoli that we ate this year. It was really incredible. There was no bugs on it. The kale is holding up. The Brussels sprouts are holding up and actually starting to produce baby Brussels sprouts. I don't know what happened different this year, like I said, except that I allowed kale to go to seed all around these plants. And these brassicas ended up holding up really well this year, so I cannot complain. But look at this garden, everyone. Look at this garden. This is just a suburban half-an-acre property here where we're growing this amazing garden. And, you know, it just goes to show what you can do with your space if you really want it. You have to want this. And if you want it and you can give it a little bit of time, this garden will give back to you. So again, you know, this is a fine balance of providing the pollinators with a lot of flowers, and then they're just drawn to the buckwheat. The buckwheat is one of the most important things that we grow here in our beds. And pretty soon we'll be harvesting like crazy, and I'll be showing you baskets full of food probably by next week. So anyway, you guys, an hour ago I was supposed to be back here watering. We're not going to have rain for another 2 days, and it's going to be 88 today, and it's already getting a little late, and the smoke from the fires is starting to get a little bit thick. So I have to get to work out here and get everything watered. But stay tuned, you guys. I know these garden tours are a little bit, you know, not very well organized right now, but I'm trying to show you what it is that we're growing and hopefully encourage and inspire you, and you know, keep following us and see what our progress is, and hopefully you'll want to try to grow something too. So anyway, guys, thanks for your time. I'll see you in the next video.